Heed before you read. This book includes kink fetishes as CNC, consensual, non-consensual, play, spit, swallowing, bodily fluids, needle play, body modification, play, beer play, play, restraint, spanking, play,
Aha.
and raw sex without a condom. Be forewarned, there is a lot shoved into this book. Hello, all you lovely people of the internet, and welcome to my page. I am Alex Sundrop. Hi, hello, nice to see you. If this is your first time here, hello, and if you are coming back, also hello. Today, we are diving into book talk, specifically spicy, dark romance book talk. I see a book and I'm like, I need that book. I need to find it, need to get the Kindle version, need to get the audio version. I don't care. I need to try it. For me, I don't know about you, but for me, TikTok books are hit or miss. Sometimes they are really, really good, and other times they are really, really bad. I have found some good ones that I thoroughly like that have led me to really good books, whether it be dark romance or fantasy, aka the ACOTAR series. I don't know if you can see, I got the first one right here because I'm going to read it for you guys. Not today, though. That's a whole different video. Today, we are specifically in spicy, dark fantasy romance TikTok book talk. We are going to be going over Her Soul to Take by Harley Laroe. It is a spicy, dark demon book, which is a change for me. I'm usually into the fallen angel vampire book, and this is it's the first book in the Souls trilogy, and even Harley says that you can specifically read any of them out of order. They're in the same universe, they're all in the same story, which I'll get to later, but they're each their own standalone books. They actually interact with other characters from other stories, but they're standalone. And I personally am excited to read the next two, and I'll get to that later, because there were a lot of things that I liked about this book, and there were also a lot of things that I didn't really like about this book. I have many marked pages, as you can see. Please do not judge me for how I fold my pages. That is my way of, these are either pages that I really liked or I thought were really cringy. Because while I did like this book, I will say it is also a cringy book. At certain points, I just had to shut the book. I was going, what? No! And then, when you're like sitting there, you're like, oh my god, why are you doing that? Yeah, I had a lot of moments in this book. It's good, but I want to say the last 200 pages were kind of a struggle for me to get through. One, the cringe. Two, our main female character, RMFC, she is too stupid to live, okay? I'm sorry. She really has this whole, which I know it's a trope in dark romance stories where they're just always headfirst into danger, right? And again, I'm going to explain all the characters. So this is a whole spoiler review, whatever you want to call it. We got spoilers in here today. But our main character, Raylan, who goes by Ray, I'm sorry, she is written as too stupid to live. She gets herself into a lot of unnecessary situations. She gets into a lot of avoidable situations. She has a lot of dumb moments, and I get it. Plot. We need plot. We need the dumb girl plot sometimes. I totally get it. She, to me, is an investigative, dark-haired Velma, spicy. If Velma had a dark side, this would be her, but also a dumb side. It would also be her. But again, I think the dumb girl trope kind of works because she's in her early college years. She's either, I can't remember if she was like 19 or like 22. I think this somewhere was around like 22. I think that was the age. But she just gets herself into situations that, you know. So let's go ahead and jump into the book, and I will go ahead and tell you about our two characters. So we have our lead female character, which is Raylan. She goes by Ray. And then we have Leon. So here's the back of the story if you are interested. And we first have Leon, who is on the cover, and I'm not gonna lie, it took me way too long to realize that this was a man with tattoos posing. I thought it was just the head coming out of some brush, and then I was like, oh yeah, there it is. So we start with Leon. My reputation among magicians is unblemished. Killer, they call me. Killing is what I'm best at. One wrong move and you're dead. Except her, the one I was supposed to take, the one I should have killed. The cult that once controlled me wants her, but I'm not about to lose my new toy to them. Kicking my feet, giggling, blushing, all the way. Already a good start, right? Well, here's Ray. I've always been in the supernatural. Hunting for ghosts is my passion, but summoning a demon was never part of the plan. Monsters are roaming the woods, and something ancient, something evil, is waking up and calling my name. I don't know who I can trust or how deep this darkness goes. All I know is my one shot at survival is the demon stalking me, and he doesn't just want my body, he wants my soul. Da 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 da, her soul to take. The summary of this book is we have a small town girl moved away who is now moving back because she wants to be strong and independent and prove to herself that she can be independent. She gets herself into a lot of trouble. Some of them could be perfectly avoided. Nonetheless, she gets herself in trouble. She summons a demon. She gets herself kidnapped by a cult. She almost gets herself murdered by a god. A lot goes down in this book. So if you're into dark fantasy, this is a really good real life, but also fantasy. You have dark cults. You have demons, you have magic, you have witches, you have making deals with gods. All that is shoved into this book. In the first chapter, we already cover a few of the main characters. We have Leon the demon. We have Kent, who has power over Leon, who uses him for his bidding. We have Kent's two children, Victoria and Jeremiah. We have his illegitimate daughter, Everly. And we have his wife. I don't remember her name. But that is like the very first 3 pages of the book is the introduction to all of these characters. Kent and his children are part of a cult that run the entire town. Leon is in service to Kent and has been in service to Kent's family for generations. Kent knows how to torture him with magic, so he's just like, I'm here. I'm here. And Leon's whole perspective is about him getting away from Kent and his family, wanting a soul, because demons in the story collect souls. The more souls you have, the higher your status in hell. And our main bad boy, Leon, is known as the Killer. He's known for if you summon this demon, you are not making it out alive. He used to kill for fun. Through many decades of history, he has been known as a mass serial murderer, really gruesome murders, and our girl Ray accidentally summons him. It's a whole wacky zany story. It's crazy. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So we start off with our main character, Ray. She has moved back to her hometown after a really bad breakup with her girlfriend. Oh, pause. That is also why I love this book. Everybody in it is bisexual. Gotta love it. So Ray is moving back to her hometown. Her parents are moving to Spain. They moved to California when I think she was 7 or 8 years old. The reason she's moving back is the bad breakup, and she just wants to be strong and independent and do things on her own and prove to herself that she can totally do it. So she's unpacking at her hometown. Oh, and my favorite character, Cheesecake the cat. If I'm ever going to get another cat, I'm going to name it Cheesecake. Literally, my favorite character in the book. Love Cheesecake. We stand Cheesecake. So she's moved back. She's unpacking. She's trying to procrastinate. Oh, that's the other thing. That kind of cringe, but kind of good. Ray is listening to All Time Low, and she's taking hits off of her vape pen. I know we're in 2024. I know vapes are totally a thing. It is still weird to read to me. Even in books, there are characters who smoke cigarettes, but not in this book. But in other book, when characters smoke cigarettes, that's pretty normal though, because you know, it's either just a random habit that somebody does. I don't know, to me, the vape thing is just still new. So we start with Ray. She's unpacking after her move. She's trying to distract herself, and her best friend is like, hey, you want to come hang out with me? I'll distract you. It's fine. And she's like, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. So she's hanging out at the bookstore that her friend owns, and she's going to help her unpack some books, stack them up, put them away, whatever they're going to do. Well, that's how we also get introduced to Ray's personality. She's clumsy, she trips, and the books go everywhere, and she's picking them up, and she picks up this really old, it looks like a handmade bound book, and she's flipping through the pages, and she's like, spells? A grimoire? It's totally a grimoire. And her friend is like, you want it? These were just donated. I didn't even have to pay for them. You can have it. And she's like, no, I totally gotta pay you. And her friend's like, no, keep the book. And this book was not put here by accident. It was taken. We find that out later. Flash forward, she's starting school. It's her first day, and we find out that there has been a murder in the school. At the school, a student was murdered, apparently very brutally. And for her, it's totally, she's like, oh, I need to find out more, because you would think that this would be all over the news and newspapers, but it's not. So she's curious, and she ends up stumbling upon the place that it happened at. She wasn't trying to look for it, but it's her first time back in town, so she's taking all these pictures. So our character, Ray, is a paranormal investigator who does YouTube, and she's very heavy about authenticity. When she hears about this murder, she's like, I want to find out more information. Like I said, she's basically a dark Velma. Love that. So she wants to do investigation. Why hasn't this been announced anywhere? The teachers are going on like it's normal. Somebody was murdered at the school, and they're just going on like it's fine while the murderer is still walking around. So Ray stumbles upon the incident, like where the incident happened. She is like, oh wow, like this place is beautiful, but it's also creepy. Well, a security guard comes up behind her. Here's where I thought it was going to be the murderer, and it was going to be that's how we get introduced. No, it's not. It's actually our main lead, Leon. Leon is the security guard, and we find out why, I think in like the next 2 chapters. So they meet for the first time, and he's giving her crap about, did you not see the caution tape? And she's like, well, I saw the caution tape, but I didn't think caution meant you can't look. He's over here like, okay. Leon is the first point of view that we get in the story, and he does not look like what I pictured when we get the description of him. He has shaved sides and a little bit long blonde hair on the top. I was not picturing a blonde. I don't know, you think demon and you think dark, but I'm like, I don't know, I kind of dig it, but not what I pictured. And he's got these tattoo sleeves going on. He's got ear piercings going on. It's a good time. Well, he's all interested. He's like, okay, normally people stay away from me because they just get this ominous vibe about me, and she's over here being sassy. I'm into this. And then later, of course, we find out why it's a spicy book. So they have their moment, and she walks away, but of course, she is klutzy, and Leon uses his demon powers on her, and she trips. So she's in the rain trying to pick up all her books, and he's chuckling behind her, and she's fuck you, basically. And that is how we are introduced to our siblings, Victoria and Jeremiah, Kent's 2 cult children. And it gets really gruesome towards the end of the story. And off the bat, our main character, Ray, gets a little suspicious of them because they're like super eager to be her friend. But she's like, I don't have any friends here besides my best friend, Anaya, so sure, I'm down for more friends. Fast forward, we have Victoria, Anaya, and Ray all hanging out at this cafe. Well, Ray sees Leon and another guy chilling in the back of the restaurant. And when she gets a peek at Leon, she notices that Leon's already looking at her. This is where our first instance happens. It is pretty smutty. This is where the public play comes in. This is where we have a little voyeurism going on too, because the second guy is not physically involved, but still involved. So that is her like second or third time meeting this guy. She's already embarrassed herself, but now she's on a mission to figure out what happened in this town, what was this murder, and she's also trying to save her YouTube channel. Like, that's the whole reason that she's even in this situation of summoning a demon in the first place. Her YouTube channel views have tanked. She's like, nobody here does real raw content. All they do is this made up stuff that is rage and clickbait. She wants to have integrity. She doesn't want to do that. So our character Ray, she decides she has this book now. She's like, you know what? Fine, my views are awful. Gonna go ahead and pretend to summon a demon. She translates everything. She ends up going to this old abandoned church that has a big history in this small town. You have to drive, park, walk 2 more miles to get to this old abandoned church that has been locked down because under it is an old mine shaft where a ton of workers died and only 3 made it out alive. And we find out why later in the book and how. So what does our main character, Too Stupid to Live, do? She goes to the church. She's there to summon a demon and get her views up. She walks around the church, she takes pictures, she films, and then when it's time, she's like, okay, I can back out or I can do this. And she's like, why not just do it? But she was not going to actually do the entire ritual. The entire ritual, you needed fresh blood, and she wasn't going to do that. She was only going to fake it. But our character being our character, when she draws a circle, she scratches herself enough to bleed. Thus, Leon is summoned. She starts to see her blood in the circle sizzle, and she's like, oh shit, what is happening? She's recording, she's got her camera up, she's got her audio going. She's like, oh my god, is this actually fucking happening? There's no way this is happening. Leon appears in his human form still, so he still looks like the Leon that she knows, and she thinks he's faked it somehow. She thinks that he has faked this entire thing. She doesn't know how he did it, how he got into the floor. Was he stalking her this entire time? Why was he stalking her this entire time? He's such a creep, and she runs through the woods. Then we learn that there are more than just demons lurking in these woods. Fast forward, we find out that Everly stole Kent's book. That's why it was missing, so Kent did not have the book. The book was how he controlled Leon. So when Leon is ordered to kill Ray, who he's already had a few interactions with, he's like, I'm not doing that. You can't make me. You don't have your book. You didn't think I wouldn't figure it out? So he flashes away in the best demon way possible. He's got 2 middle fingers up and he's like, sayonara. So now Ray is his new summoner. He can totally kill her, but he doesn't. So flash forward through the book, we have Victoria, Ray, and Anaya all hanging out. Jeremiah is included sometimes, and he's a little creepy. We find out why he's a little creepy. They all get a little closer. She still gets weird vibes from the two siblings, but she's like, I'm me, so I could just be wrong here. And for my spicy friends, we have many interactions between Leon and Ray. Interactions where Leon is like, tell me your deepest, darkest desires and let's act on those desires. And because he's a demon, he can tell when she is, and so that just enhances her. And she's like, I'm here for this. Let's go. So there's a ton of spicy moments in this book, all mixed in with the main plot. We find out later that Victoria and Jeremiah are in this cult. Jeremiah is the one who murdered the student on the first day of school. We find out that Victoria and Jeremiah are actually competing to get to see which sibling gets to live. What happened to the miners? What happened was that this god made a deal with 3 miners in that mine shaft. That is how they survived. The deal was that a life debt is a life paid. So 3 more people had to be sacrificed in order to appease this god so that it would spare humanity. Well, guess what? Our main character, Ray, is a descendant of one of those people. Kent's family is a descendant of one of those people. And our guy who was murdered on the first day is the other family member descendant. So we already have one murder, attempted murder of Ray, and there's already going to be a sacrifice with the Kent family. And here's where I think personally everything was great up until the last half of the book. I think like 200 pages left, I was like, okay, there are really, really avoidable moments here. If you've read this book, then you know there is a Halloween party that happens that has been planned months in advance. So this is my issues with this book. There's a demon that's supposed to be this big bad demon. He's literally called the Killer. And yet, he doesn't want to kill Ray. This is before he really admits that he has feelings for her. And he's already starting to protect her. He protects her from these demons, which this is what confused me on the book too. One of the main things that are after Ray, besides the humans, like the cult is after her, these beings called elves. And they basically, to me, they would be what I would like a Wendigo. That's what I would think. And so this is supposed to be Leon. And I don't know why the skull is here. I guess it's to represent all the elves that come after and that he has to fend off because every chapter is the eld. So I think that's what that's supposed to represent. I was kind of hoping that's what Leon's true form would look like. Spoiler, it's not. So I was a little disappointed there. And instead of being just this big bad demon, bringing out her desires and just being, enemies at first before lovers, he protects her. Yes, she's his summoner, but that doesn't mean anything because he's killed all his previous summoners. The only reason he can't kill Kent is because he has this magic trinket that keeps Leon from killing him. We also find out that he wants that grimoire so bad because that is the only way that someone can summon him, and he never wants to be summoned again. He wants to go back to hell. He just wants to relax. He wants to go on adventures. That's all he wants to do. So he's on the hunt for this grimoire. Well, turns out while Ray was at the church summoning Leon, the book was stolen because she was just going to give it back. Well, she wasn't going to give it back, but then she decided to give it back later on. They go back. It's not there. It has been stolen. Stolen by who? We don't know. But Leon is on a hell-bent mission because the only way to summon a demon is to know their true name. And their true name cannot be remembered. It can only be seen and rewritten or redrawn on the summoning circle, which is what Ray did. So he wants to destroy this book. That's all he wants to do. That is his whole goal throughout this whole story. On top of getting Ray's soul. So why doesn't he murk her and just leave? They have a lot of saucy time, and all the saucy time, some of it is really, really saucy and spicy, and some of it I'm like, I'm a little cringe. I had to shut the book a few times. It took me a minute to get through, and I was going, what? No, over a tombstone? Like, yes, so we got some creepy vibes in here that, yes, very saucy, very spicy, and some I'm just like, you're doing the most. We also find out that Leon and Zane have a past, a very long past. Like, yes, they are 2 demons in hell together, but they also were lovers at one point, and they still, recently did sleep together, and they've also permanently marked each other. So for demons marking each other is some kind of physical mark. They did piercings. Zane gave Leon an ear piercing, while Leon gave Zane a tongue piercing. Later in the book, Ray hasn't given Leon her soul yet, so to mark her, what does he do? That's where we have our needle play, and he marks her. He marks her titties. So we have this big bad demon. Ray is basically his plaything right now, but he's also protecting her. all these elves start coming around. We still don't know why. Throughout the book, Rey hears this voice when she's asleep. Sometimes she hears it just sitting there. She just has this pull, this feeling. These elves start coming around. She starts being chased, hunted down, and Leon still protects her. At first, it's just because he wanted the grimoire, but then she didn't have the grimoire. He just could have killed her, been on his way. So that's where I have a little trouble. Fast forward, there's this whole moment where Leon's able to get the grimoire back, and we go down and we meet my two favorite characters that I'm excited to read. I think it's the last book. I don't know if it's the second or last book, because Her Soul for Revenge, which is a Zane story, and then we have Soul of a Witch, which is Everly's story. And I'm really excited to read Everly's story because her archdemon, that's what I pictured Leon would be. So I was a little disappointed with Leon being Leon. It's not his fault. I totally see building up to like a bigger, badder demon. Because I personally liked Zane more than I liked Leon. And I think it was like Calaman or something. Love him. So there's this point in the book where Leon just kind of disappears for a few weeks up until the Halloween party, which is where Rey, too stupid to live, comes back to life full force. She knows for a fact, she has learned that Jeremiah and Victoria are trying to kill her. She's been avoiding them for a week, hasn't been wanting to hang out with them, has come up with excuse after excuse, and here she is going to their Halloween party. She's going to sneak through their house to find a trinket that can protect her from the elves that are trying to kill her. And what does she do while she's at this party? She takes drinks from Jeremiah. Well, guess what? He roofies the out of her. He roofies her. And these drinks, they just go down. She's vibing. She's dancing. Well, she sees this girl staring at her and she's like, okay. They have their moment. Her boyfriend comes up and they have a moment. She's like, yes, we're dancing. It's a party. She's roofied. The couple end up actually dragging her to the bathroom and the girlfriend makes her throw up. She gets everything out. And then she's like, sorry, I had to do that. And she's staring at them. She's like, why do you look so familiar? She recognizes Zane, which is Her Soul for Revenge. I'm so excited. Juniper. I'm so excited for Juniper. She's a story that I'm excited to read. Juniper is out for revenge. That's why she's at this party. She's out here to mark everybody who did her wrong. Because she was a mark that Leon was supposed to kill and she got away. Dun, dun, dun! It all ties together. And for some reason, she needs Rey to live. And then Leon comes back. Yay, he didn't really leave her. And he still didn't tell her that he found his grimoire page. Everly actually stole the book. Leon went to go get the book back. Got his ass kicked by the archdemon. Everly still gave him the piece. Everything was perfectly fine. She's just going to become a powerful witch. I just know it. She's going to kill the god. And so we have no idea that he had this piece. Then we have Leon and Rey going to wander off into the house because Leon knows the house. He's been there forever from the ground up, literally. He knows bits and pieces of the house. Then Leon and Rey end up having a moment in Kent's bedroom on his bed because Leon's like, my own personal revenge. They go down into the cellar. They find what they need to find. She's able to grab a dagger. Then we get Leon's sad backstory of how long he's been stuck in this dark room in the circle where he can't escape. And then Rey's like, I'm so sorry. I love you. Hug. They come up to the room and realize that Kent is there. He wasn't supposed to be there at all. Leon takes off his mask and he's like, I thought you went back to hell. And Leon's like, surprise, shorty, it's me. And he basically stands in front of Rey because Rey's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. But even with a gun to Rey's head, he does not kill her. It's not time. Fast forward to Rey finding everything out, needing to run. She's like, I can't stay here anymore. I'm gonna get caught. I gotta go. Leon's like, you gotta go. It is the only safe way. They're gonna hunt me forever. And he's like, they're gonna hunt you forever. So we get a scene of like 1 to 3 days where they're actually in a hotel. They're away. They have some playtime, some piercing time. It's all super intimate. She still hasn't given him her soul. And just when they think that things have finally calmed down, Victoria calls Rey out of the blue in tears. And she's like, you win. You did it. You took him away from me. And Rey's like, what? Turns out Kent gone. Yeeted. Which tells us that Juniper got part of her revenge. But Victoria thought it was Rey and Leon. Fast forward to Rey and Leon are trying to get away again because there's all these elves coming out of the woods. But it was a reaper, the closest thing that you can get before you're a god. Just a step above an archdemon. And it's after Leon. Technically, it's after Rey and Leon, but Leon distracts it so that Rey can get away. Unfortunately, again, our badass demon gets his ass kicked by an eld. He still breaks a lot of bones in the eld. Jeremiah sends them after him. He kicks its ass. She's driving away. She's got cheesecake. She's ready to go. And what does she do? She hightails it around. She whips it around and she goes back and she's driving back. She throws cheesecake in the house and she goes to find Leon. Leon has been brutally attacked. I'm talking broken bones, disconnected limbs, slashed through the chest, slashed through the face. He is gone through it. He's laying on the ground. She finally finds him. Death and decay have surrounded him because that's what the Reapers bring. Who would be the one to walk up on Ray and Leon but Jeremiah? Jeremiah finds him in the middle of the woods. Things are weird, like really weird. He's been possessed by the god. He's killed his sister, and he kidnaps Ray, leaving Leon in the woods. It's starting to pour down rain, and he's all alone. So again, here's my tidbits. Like, yes, we need plot, and I'm fine with plot. But our big bad demon has gotten his ass kicked through this entire story. To me, it just reminds me of Attack on Titan. I love Attack on Titan. But Eren, throughout the entire series, gets his butt kicked. Even when he's the Attack Titan, he is with Ymir, the founding Titan, he still gets his butt kicked the whole time. Leon is getting his butt kicked throughout the whole story. But again, it's hot because, Ray's here, she tends to his wounds, it's okay, and, he can't really die, but he could, but he doesn't. So Jeremiah leaves him in the woods to basically wither away into nothing. He has Raylan, he has his sacrifice, he's ready to go. So now it all comes back to the church that Raylan was trying to do her YouTube, her fake summoning in. We've made it back to the mines. So now it all comes back to the church. It has all come full circle. We don't really know how long Ray has been tied up, but she's been tied up. She's hungry, she's malnourished, she's tired, she's thirsty. There's been a bag over her head the whole time. And by the time that the bag comes off and she's trying to kick and scream, Jeremiah has her placed in the middle of the circle of the cult. You have cult members in hoods all around. She can't see who anybody is, but we know it's the whole town. The whole town is basically in on this. And my theory is not just that the town is all cultist members, but the town is all cultist members because that God has influence, that voice that Ray has heard throughout the entirety of the book. I think they're just completely influenced by the god. Jeremiah ends up carving runes into Ray's chest. He cuts open her shirt. She's bare-chested. You can see her rings. And he's like, I knew you were freaky. He still talks about how he wished he could have basically done her before this. And he's like, oh well. He kicks her down a well. She falls into the mine shaft. And she's left to wander in the dark. This is my other problem. She has a lighter. That is her only source of light. She has her lighter in her pocket and Leon's name that he ripped out of the grimoire. It has survived the water. The lighter survived the water. She has no glasses. Her only source of light is this lighter. And here's my issue. A lighter will only stay lit for so long without melting the plastic of the lighter and pretty much exploding in your hand. It will melt the plastic around it. The metal's going to get too hot in your hand. And she walks around with it for a good little bit. I want to say about 10 to 15 minutes. It could have been longer, but I definitely feel like it was a 10 to 15 minute look around look. And you're talking that lighter has not gone off. Well, then an Eld comes into the mine shaft. She can hear it. She can smell it. She dives into the water. She can't see, so she's feeling around. The mine shaft is getting smaller and smaller. You'd think she would run out of breath, but no, she's able to hold her breath. She squeezes through the hole, and she pops out onto the other side. And she can't see, but she can tell that there's this dark, inky, murky-looking lake water. So she starts to cry. She's in the pit of despair. You know how stories go. There's always that moment in the darkness where the main character feels like nothing's ever going to go right again. They're either going to die, they're in their deepest, darkest moment. I think this is the last 5 chapters. I want to say it's this is the last 5 chapters of the book. So we're nearing the end. We are almost there. So she's crying. She's like, I'm never going to make it out of here. I'm just going to die here. The god's going to get me. This is the end. So what does she do at the end? She pulls out Leon's name. She uses the dagger that she stole from Kent's place, carves it into her thigh. She professes her love and soul to Leon. It is his to take. It is his to have forever. She finally made that call, even though she doesn't know if Leon is dead or alive. We don't know how much time passes, but a little bit of time passes. And here comes this water. This water starts to murk and bubble. And what comes out of the water? A beautiful being, the most iridescent, beautiful, perfect looking being that you could possibly imagine, comes up out of this water. But our girl Ray can see it glitch. It turns into this ugly, tentacle-looking creature with sharp, jagged teeth, imperfect, ugly, disgusting, smelly, and it does its best to convince her that every move and action she's ever made in her entire life was because she knew it was going to lead her to this moment, that the god was always calling to her, that her destiny was to die, was to give her soul to this god. And the god shows her all these memories from the time she was a little girl playing in the cabin in her childhood home. It was really the god calling her name. Then we flash forward to her in California sitting at one of the piers. She's staring out into the night of the ocean, and she's just thinking about how quiet it would be if she just sunk into the middle of the ocean, the deep darkness just for eternity, you know, just a breath. Then we fast forward to her parents wanting to move to Spain, and they're like, you can come with us. And she's like, no, I need to do this. I need to be an adult. I need to do things on my own. So she goes back to her childhood home where it all began. And she's like, oh my God, all this led to this moment. Are you really going to kill me? Am I going to die? And it's like, no, you get to live with me in beautiful, blissful suffering forever in eternity. Whoa, that is so heavy. The god tries to take her soul. It's actually this like small little battle. It's sinking her deeper and deeper and deeper into the depths of the ocean. It's pulling her in. She's letting it. And then she decides to fight. Why does she decide to fight? She can feel Leon. Leon is tugging on their soul string and he's like, no, you belong to me. So Rey fights back. She grabs that dagger. She starts stabbing the god. She stabs its tentacles over and over again. Our god is mad. It's angry. It's pissed. You gave your soul to another. This can't be. You are mine. You belong to me. So Rey is able to harm the god. She gets away. Leon saves her. They're able to finally confess their love for one another. Things end up going back to normal. Nobody was really arrested. Leon is able to carry Rey away, and he carries her into the woods, and he smells something. They end up walking up on Kent's burnt down house. It is burnt down, gone forever. It is not coming back. Who burned it down but Juniper and my boy Zane? She got her revenge, but there's still cult members walking around, so I feel like in the second book she's gonna get more there's got to be more to this revenge than just Kent's house. But it is gone. Jeremiah's gone, and then she wants to kill Leon, but because Zane and him are so close, Juniper's like, you are so lucky that Zane cares about you because you are first on my list. And it's like, she could have done it too. I love Leon, but she could have won up on him. It's the end of the book. I don't know about any other books, but this one has a bonus chapter, and we get to see Leon and Rey. They're ghost hunting. She's got her YouTube up and running again. She's visited her parents. They've met Leon. He's living some sense of normalcy. She's back to a normalcy. It's like a year later. She's graduated. She's out of school. They're traveling the whole world because money's not an option. I mean, you have a demon, and she jokes that he has hordes of money. And then he's like, ha 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 ha, I don't have hordes of money. They get to travel, go places. I can't remember where they end up going, but it's this like famous haunted house, and he's like, you love it? They end up doing the deed there, obviously. Gotta end on a smutty level, right? And he's like, guess what? This place is ours now. And she's like, what? He's like, yeah, you want it? I bought it. And that's pretty much the end of the book. And then we get a bonus chapter of the next story with Zane and Juniper, which I was drooling over. So that's the story. That's her soul to take. Leon and Rey, two great characters. Are they my favorite? No. But do I love them? Yes. So I don't know. For a TikTok read, I thought it was pretty good. I'm really excited for the next two books. Those are the books I'm really looking forward to. Her Soul for Revenge and Soul of a Witch. I am so ready. They're already out. I just have to go get them, and maybe I'll review them with you guys. Would I read this book again? Yes, because I already did. For me, this is now one of my guilty pleasure books. I have no regrets. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 would read again. Personally, I would probably give it 3.5, 4 stars out of 5. I think that's fair. Not my favorite. The writing I feel like could have been a little bit better. Like I said, I was thrown off by a couple of things. 1, listening to All Time Low. 2, the vaping. Those things are normal. That's just I'm being nitpicky right now. 3, I feel like Leon could have been written darker, scarier, less warm to Rey. That's my opinion though. So, read this book. Tell me what you think. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Would you read it again? I'm ready to read the next 2 books. That's what I'm looking forward to. Juniper and Zane, Everly and Camelin. I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Either way, love it or hate it, TikTok book. That's the review. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe down below. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see, what books you would like for me to review or read. It has been great. It has been fun. Thank you guys for joining me here today. I cannot wait to see you guys next time. Okay, bye!